Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Golden Rule Revolution, where inspiration and purpose come from treating people like people and nothing less. With so much happening right now in society, with so much happening, I'm sure, in your social media feeds, and the charge that you might be feeling, I was reached out to on Twitter by a veteran named Justin Durm. And Justin brought up to me an issue that I have been incredibly passionate about for the past 4 years specifically, and that is veteran suicide. Let's not forget, in light of everything that's happening, that there are people taking their own lives because they have lost hope. They have lost connection and relationship, and they are sadly making a permanent decision to temporary problems. This episode is, it takes all sorts of turns and twists, but I think the overall message that we can get from this is we get to take care of our veterans. We get to love them. We get to create space for their healing and their trauma. And we also get to create space for our healing and our trauma. Brothers and sisters, we get to unite as a species on the beautiful human race that we are. Thank you for listening. Here we go. Justin, thank you so much for joining the podcast. This is an important topic, brother. This is an important topic. Tell me, how did you even get to the point where you're talking about veteran suicide and saving lives? Tell me your story, brother.
So you want the long or short? I don't know. You got to be more specific. What do you actually want to know? Because it's so much.
Hey, well, let's start with you joining the military.
I got an uncle that served 39 years in the Air Force.
Wow.
Yes, he was actually the highest rated non-commissioned officer in the Air Force.
Wow.
His name was Michael Dortch. So, okay, I don't know. It's a long, I don't know. I could really go long, like exactly as far as like where I'm from.
Lay it down. Lay it down. We got
like my family has so much heritage here. Our lineage is so strong in our city. Like growing up, like every sport I played, there's a banner with my last name on. So I got banners from, in Pee Wee League, they don't do banners, but middle school to high school is like banners with all our last names on it. So you talk about pressure, right?
Yeah.
And see, one of the things that got me actually interested in you did your TED talk about child abuse.
Yeah, that's right.
Growing up low income, Black families sometimes tend to deal with child abuse. So that's what really got my attention as far as, wanting to talk to you, especially as we're doing right now. But as far as like the military, my uncle had a strong influence. I have 4 uncles and I have 8 aunts.
Wow.
So all 4 of my uncles have served.
Wow.
My oldest brother served, and I always wanted to be like my oldest brother. Like even my bald head, I didn't want to cut my hair, but I'm bald. Yeah, I wanted to be just like him. So I joined the Army. He always told me not to do it. He said, I told you should have never did it. I told you. Cause I didn't like it, when I got into my behavioral health, because it's a tough job, to save people's lives.
Right.
A lot of people come in with a lot of problems, and you're like, man, my life is hard enough. I'm in Hawaii. People think it's a vacation, but when you got to work every day, you work at 12 hours a day, and your job is to make other people, who have more freedoms than you. They have more income than you. They could do anything they want to do, and they still want to kill themselves, commit suicide. And you have to convince them not to commit suicide, and that's what I did. But the reason I joined the Army had to do with my big brother and my uncles.
Wow. Well, I think there's a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. And I think let's start with, before we get into your story, because one thing that I've known working with therapists and having a lot of emotional intelligence people on the podcast, that people that have an inclination to help other people are usually those with the greatest battles that they face themselves. So while you're in the Army and while you're helping as a behavioral therapist, what was it that you saw these soldiers struggle with that made them want to escape their body?
They were basically disowned. You know, you're kind of your own entity in the army, on the military in general. So if you don't necessarily buy into the standardization that the military preaches, because you know, if you buy into the standardization they preach, then it's their job is easy as supervisors. And, you know, you go when you get a DOD number, Department of Defense ID number, you are a government property. So you get ran by everything goes back to the CIA and the FBI and everything. You got the NSA, you got all these people you didn't even know you were involved with, but they run everything. So you belong to all of them. So
wow,
it's pretty tough, man. So you get this situation where, say, you get a headache, right? And you go in and they have a standard way of treating a headache. You have anxiety, they have a standard way of treating anxiety, depression, insomnia, PTSD, bipolar, schizophrenia, everything. They're actually people who are on active service right now who are schizophrenic. Nobody knows. And there's people in service right now that have tried to commit suicide several times. And they were just, only thing that kept them alive is they were unsuccessful. So they have standard ways of treating all of these problems that you have, or illnesses or diagnoses. But majority of the time, soldiers deal with these situations because they feel disowned and left out. Because you got to think, it's kind of like, let me see if I can describe it. It's like the military is thought about and preached about like it's this big love, but really a lot of times when you need treatment, it's kind of like walking into a big empty building. I mean, so it's like, say it says Army on the front of the building, you walk in, it's like nobody in. When you need them, you need personal treatment. You don't need a standard treatment. You need individualization. You need to be, but you really are just a DOD number. You don't even, your social security number doesn't even matter. Your DOD ID matters. So that's what happens.
Wow, brother. So your job was to work with people in that space. I mean, what would you do? How would you help them?
Just like we're talking right now. Just like this.
Just like, got it.
Just like we're talking right now. It's like they just need to have somebody there. And see, the reason my book is 81 Days of Hidden Suicide is on Amazon Kindle. The reason it's titled 81 Days because it's a guy. I can't say his name, you know, because what do you call it? Security reason.
Yep.
But 81 days. Usually when you go on a psychiatric ward and you're getting treated for mental disorder, you're usually on a stay anywhere from a day to 72 hours typically. But the guy wound up having to stay 81 days. And, you know, a lot of people didn't want to deal with, you know, the civilians. But every shift that came on, and we work 5 days a week, and it's either you work 7 to 7 in the day or 7 to 7 at, you know what I mean, at night. So either or, they always put me with the guy, or with the person, the individual. Let me say it like that. I don't want to sound disoriented or disrespectful, but I worked with him from 81 days because he tried to kill himself 3 times in 1 month.
Wow.
So the last time that made him get committed, right before he had to stay on the psychiatric unit for 81 days, he actually was very close to within 10 seconds of being successful of killing himself. And what he did was he slit his wrist. And that's it's vulgar, I guess. You know what I mean? It's very graphic, but that's what he did. He slit his wrist and he sat in the chair while he was bleeding out and took 3 or 4 pictures and then posted the picture of him bleeding out on Facebook.
Jeez.
So his team leader actually, the only thing to save him is his team leader who saw him change his profile picture. And they called and the unit picked him up and they brought him to me. And 81 days, because they was like, there wasn't the staff and his unit, everybody wasn't sure he wanted to try to commit suicide. But he wound up, you know, he spent 81 days with me. We laughed, we talked, you know what I mean? Just being a friend. That's basically what I did for 4 years. I couldn't do that anymore. After that, I changed everything. But he moved to Colorado just so he can smoke weed, I guess, because it's legal there.
Yeah.
So he's alive and well.
Amazing. What did you have your own battles with that?
Well, my story's a little different. I guess after that situation is what really changed my perception of what life and what the matter of being and belonging and family and friends, all of that stuff. But I had it. A lot of people say I had it made it, but I necessarily didn't feel that. Like I said, we all feel disowned at some point.
Yeah.
Because my own problems, like I would say, I would tell the doctors, like, I can't sleep. So they give you medication, and the medication didn't work. I was like, well, my mood is wrong. Let's give you medication. My anxiety is up. Give you medication. They give you a pill for everything.
Yeah.
But a pill doesn't always accomplish what the desired effect is supposed to be. So,
That's right.
you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily fix everything. So after I dealt with the individual I helped, I don't want to say, I hate to say saved, but I don't think of myself as a hero. I think of myself as just plain guy. But I guess you could say, if you could ever check my Twitter or my Instagram or my Facebook, you could see that I was a very popular individual. I had a lot of female friends. I was doing a lot of cool things in Hawaii, jumping off a lot of cliffs, playing a lot of golf. I was doing a lot of cool stuff until I met and had to deal with that situation. It really changed my demeanor. And like even my affect, just the way I even looked at people, it kind of changed. I didn't really smile as much. I wasn't even as active as much. It just kind of like, I can't believe these people disown service members like this. And it's just okay. It's almost routine.
Right.
Like I said, the standardization. So with me, my thing was, what I decided to do was, I had a prescription for Adderall. And I had a prescription for like 8 or 9 other pills that they gave me for anxiety, depression, what else? Insomnia, ADHD. I had high blood pressure. What else? Hypothyroidism. And then for pain, I never took pain pills. I never got into that. I took ibuprofen. I remember I take 2 of those a day. So I was like, you know what? I know Adderall is a narcotic. So I took 6 of those with me. So I took 2 and took 4 more with me. Then I took my buddy's car that used to loan me his car when I was in Hawaii. When he picked up some of the hottest women you could ever meet that I had known for a long time. And the whole time I'm drinking. I have like a half a gallon of whiskey,
Wow.
So I'm like, today I'm gonna kill myself.
Wow.
So we go out. So I'm on 2 Adderalls. We get to the bar. My favorite bar is was O'Toole's in Chinatown, Honolulu. So we sitting there. I'm still drinking. The half a gallon is in the car. I'm smoking my cigar like I usually do. I'm trying to hold on to reality, just being alive. It wasn't fun. I got all these beautiful women around me, but this isn't fun. So I started popping Adderall. So I wound up popping the last 4. And I was like, this isn't doing anything. So I was like, let's go get some cocaine. So we went to Waikiki to Lewis Street. And we went to a place called Kelly O'Neill's because I know a guy there. And I went and got like 2 grams of coke. I was like, do the 2 grams of coke. And I was like, man, I'm still not there. So we went and got some marijuana. Got the marijuana. I get home, right? Somehow I made it on the base. I don't know how. I'm driving a truck. I'm inebriated. I'm making all the mistakes you make when you're trying to die, or if a lot of people have died doing what I was doing. Got home, fell asleep, and I was like, "This is it. There's no way I'm gonna wake up." And I woke up with the worst headache in my life.
Wow.
But before that, I had tried to slip my wrist, and I was like, "This hurts too bad." So I was like, "I'm never gonna try to slip my wrist. I'm gonna try to overdose." So that was my attempt, or futile attempts for suicide. The two main, and that's in my book. Is chronicled in my book. I put it. But I don't want to lie, man. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, man. A lot of people struggle with a lot.
Yeah, brother. I mean, I attempted suicide when at the age of 20. Tried to drive off a bridge, took my seatbelt off, floored it, and a semi truck cut me off. That's the only reason I'm still here today. And I understand it. I also know, and I want to ask you and get into. I think all pain, especially people that want to escape their body and get out of this reality and really finally, falsely, but think they're going to find peace through taking their own life, really stems from childhood trauma, man.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, brother. So
I don't really have any. That's basically like point blank information. I think that's very obvious.
I mean, as children, we're as we're as close to the source of where we come from as children. We come into this world, we're open, we're excited, our imaginations are flowing, and we're just open. But that first time that adult who is maybe a parent or who caretaker is supposed to show us unconditional love hits us, strikes us, intimidates us, threatens us, scares us. We learn as children very early on that it's not safe to be open. It's not safe to be ourselves. That we learn conditioned by parents or school or whatever. And it's no different than being conditioned by the military to conform. But in order to conform, one must abdicate, oneself. And I have a lot of friends, combat veteran friends. In fact, I don't even know. God has brought a lot of warriors, even yourself, man, to find me, and you don't have to be in combat to fill up, but warriors. And I want to say to you, brother, and to everyone listening, Justin reached out to me via Twitter there, and then an email, and this is our real first conversation. We and this is the beauty of humanity, and this is the beauty of being able to connect with people all over the world and share our stories vulnerably, because who knows, man, who's listening right now and is hearing you share that and say, geez,
they ain't know it was that real.
Yeah.
But see, my thing about you're talking about preconditioning. I think a lot of us you're born losing yourself, because like you said, they bore you into an anxiety disorder anyway.
Yeah.
As you stated, like you become something different when someone corrects you, whether it's disciplinary or just in general.
Yeah.
Well, this is how you say such and such, or this is how you eat, this is what you're supposed to eat. But see, as you grow older, you go and see everything, and you've done as much as I've done. 'Cause I've done a lot of, I'm trying to control my profanity, but you've done a lot of things, and you're like, man, I'm finally myself. And it's a shame that you have to go through so much just to be able to even share your story. And then the fact that you want to share your story, people might frown upon it, or they might not accept it. Just like when I watched your video on YouTube and I seen the dislikes of the video, I was like, why would you dislike such a good message? He's trying to bring something to you that you should be okay with. You should not be. It should be no dislikes on that video. But it's like ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know, man. People have their opinions, but I was like really upset about it. I guess because people think, what do you call it? What is it? Corporal disciplinary measures are necessary to raise children. I don't, because my nephews, or I don't, like when they mess up or whatever they do, because I don't have any children, but I have my nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
I might yell at them, but I would never. I could never bring myself.
Yeah. It's it's funny you bring up. It's funny you bring up the thumbs down on my TED Talk. That was just an orchestrated effort by the abuser and his crowd.
That's what's crazy. That's ridiculous. People got that much time on their hands.
Man, it's what's interesting, brother, is this is what I love about just connecting with you. Is you and I did not grow up in the same households. We have not had the same stories, but when we can connect as human beings, brother, and connect as that soul level.
Souls. It's your sixth sense. People don't know that. People don't know that your soul is your sixth sense. They don't know that. But that's a lot of studying to do.
So let's talk about, you sent me something, and I knew the stat, or I used to talk about veteran suicide quite a bit, that 26 veterans commit suicide every single day, but you sent me updated
facts
stats.
From the government accountability. They got it. So when you do accountability, you got to get to the facts.
It's amazing. A veteran commits suicide every 72 minutes of every day.
Think about that. Somebody dying as we're doing this interview, or they're killing them. That's insane.
So
that's insane.
It is insane. And it's tragic, and it doesn't have to be it does not have to be that way. And in fact, the veterans, anyone that's willing to serve and go through basic training, and, you know, you could hate it, you could love it, you could whatever if you're in it, but anyone who's willing to put their life on the line, man, deserves to be honored and cherished and respected and upheld. and I think what it really stems from, look at like our media situation. So I was a journalist, I was a TV reporter for years.
Mm-hmm.
If the media, with as much energy that they're pushing coronavirus scare and all these things, if they turned it for good, and if they started talking about veteran suicide, if they started talking about child abuse, if they started talking about things, man, the world would be different. And that's why I'm on a mission. This podcast, the tagline is to treat people like people and nothing less. Man, if I don't stand for your breath, if I don't stand for your health, I'm not standing for my health. It's a fallacy to say, oh, I'm just going to look out for me and, you know, fuck everyone else, because everyone else is connected to me. My brother Justin in Florida, your life matters as much as my life matters, brother.
It does. And my thing about the media and why they don't cover veteran suicide as much, I think, I'm fairly certain it's not a conspiracy that the military would close a lot of those outlets. I really do. So that's why they tend to cover things or topics that are politically correct or okay by, you know, such agencies that govern us every day. So that's why I think, like I said, but I know that's why they don't cover it. Because if they did, if they highlighted that point, it would bring a shadow over some of the methods they have in, you know, indoctrinating us into, you know, their philosophy and the way we're supposed to act when we join the military and stuff like that. So they don't want to talk about that. That's why.
So if
they do, they're gonna get closed.
Yeah, they'll get that fine. They'll get that fine, the FCC fine.
Yeah.
Man, I remember one time my very first job as a TV reporter, it was a small market. I was in Yakima, Washington. And I was the morning reporter, and I was live every morning. And I was the one-man band reporter. So that means I not only reported, but I had to hook the camera up, run the satellites from the truck, run wire. It was crazy.
You were the rookie, man. You were the rookie.
I was a rookie, getting paid $8,000 a year, starving. People are like, "Man, you were really thin back then." I was like, "Yeah, because I couldn't even afford food. I was that hungry." But I didn't know this one morning that the tower broke, and so we were live the entire time. My camera and the conversation I was having with this guy was live on TV the entire time. And the TV station didn't know, because they could still see the controls going back and forth. They didn't know that people at home just saw my camera. So this guy's telling a story about the guy I was with. It was in October. It was during a corn maze. And so I was at a corn maze.
Everything happens in October. My birthday's in October.
Oh, nice, man. Well, this guy was telling a story about his infidelities. He was telling me all about stuff.
Oh, no. Man. Oh, no.
Listening and but I never swore. I never said anything inappropriate. And I get back to the station, find out what was going on. And they said, "Thank goodness you were the reporter that this happened to. You didn't say anything inappropriate, because the rest of us would have gotten a FCC fine."
Yeah.
Anyway, brother, I just tell that story because it's funny that, they do find these stations, and they do.
They do.
Out. Yeah. Well, what have you done for your healing journey? That now that you're, are you still taking all those pills? Or where are you in your healing journey?
Well, I take my blood pressure and my thyroid medication.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not really big on Adderall anymore. Take my ibuprofen when I have a headache, or I got arthritis in both my feet, my knees, and both my hands. So, like I said, I'm not a big fan of pain pills, but I take it every so often, if it gets really bad. But as far as like healing, the only thing that heals me is writing. So I'm writing my second book. So more I can write. I get depressed, like I said, I try to do like 100 words a day at the very minimum. Cause it's actually a cool story about a guy that started a website, and he would write 100 words a day. It's like one of the most popular websites in the world right now. I can't remember the name of it, but it's pretty dope. And he just said, I just felt like writing 100 words a day. So, I'm just writing my second book. It's a crime thriller. It's probably not going to be probably nothing like my last book. It'll be like something that hopefully they can turn into a screenplay and make a movie about. That's pretty cool. Kind of like the guy that did Get Out and Us. What's his name? I can't remember his name, but something like that. Something cool. That's it. So long as I can write, I try to write like 100 words. Like even if you read my content right now, it just says entry for such and such a day. Just 100 words.
Love it.
So that's it.
So for veterans out there, I mean, what's your recommendation for them to get over? I mean, how can we help the veterans right now feeling alone, feeling lost, feeling broken?
Well, I wouldn't say spend too much time with them because, everybody has their own life. They got their own things they got to deal with. I would say suggest that, when they do speak to you, speak back. And it's guys that walk up, like I said, I'm in like a low income area now, just back home. I'm just chilling. I'm happy to be kind of hidden. So I'm kind of hidden. I kind of like, but even guys that walk by and they're like dirty and they smell bad and they're kind of like disoriented and they're not saying anything coherent, I still speak to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether they're veterans or not. So just listen and talk to people. It's the best thing you could do. You don't necessarily give them money all the time. Money doesn't solve everybody's problem. But,
right.
If you can help that way. If they need something, give it to them. Don't try to judge them and say, well, you're not like, you must get the honorable discharge because you're on the streets. But a lot of people that are on the street, that are veterans, they have honorable discharge.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just got in the situation when they got out and they realized civilian life isn't anything like what it's like to be in the military.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to give you the one up just because you serve, because everybody doesn't support military efforts, because a lot of people want to be nonviolent. More people are more liberal. See, the military is a more conservative Republican thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. That's not a liberal agenda thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm going to go join the army and go support troops. Be a troop overseas and shoot people in Iraq and Iran. That is not what liberals are about at all. No. Yes, at all. Actually, they would go against you if they could. They're trying to minimize the military, and they always have been that. So,
yeah. It's interesting right now watching. It's interesting watching Donald Trump right now because he's built the military back up, but he's also withdrew a lot of the troops, and he's actually, we didn't go to war with North Korea. We're not engaging in conflict, and it's an interesting thing right now because I agree with you. Just watching the rhetoric and the narrative that's taking place, man. It's I think we're seeing how it can be done, built up strong, but also not needing to be aggressive, for the sake of whatever interests of whomever, and
yeah, I'm nonpartisan. I'm not going to try to pick sides, but I know liberals, if they could not have a military, they probably would. It'd be very small. It'd be a bunch of specific special agents, special soldiers, especially these people, have these secret agendas that they carry out, and they take out necessary assets. But as far as like a worldwide, I'm in a nationwide military and stuff like that. Liberals don't. They don't.
Man, it's
just running their agenda.
And it's funny, liberal, conservative, these are just things. At the end of the day, everyone just wants to be loved. Everyone wants to just be, you know what I'm saying? Everyone just wants to.
But you get caught up. When you join the military, you get caught you are in a war. You don't even know. You have no idea. Like, I'm just signing up to serve my country. You're serving the agendas of individuals who are influencers and policymakers and legislators. Yeah, because if you when you join the military, they tell you off rip, if you say anything against the president on any of your social media, you're a conscientious dissenter, so you can actually be killed by firing squad. Still.
Yeah.
Because that's treason.
Amazing, man. Yeah. Amazing. So, tell me about your book and how people can find it and what you're working on right now.
So, you want to hear a funny story?
Yeah, bro.
Like, I actually wrote my book as a worker project, right? And I said, you know what? I just want to put it out there because for years, we were like, you're going to write a book? You keep saying this. I did it. I wasn't so right to put it out there. It was a working document. Then I came back like months later, like, oh, shit, this is actually public information. Let me fix it a little bit. So I went back. So it's still not grammatically sound, but it's there. But I wrote it in 6 days.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Wrote it in 6 days, and the other thing is, I have never read my book.
Hmm.
I've only read sections of 81 Days of Hidden Suicide. It's on Amazon Kindle. It's $9.99 because I made it $9.99 not to make a profit to get rich, but I made it that way so to protect my intellectual property.
Yeah,
You know what I
bro.
mean? My human capital. Because if I make it free like the lady did on 50 Shades of Grey, there's no guarantee they're gonna pick up a black man's store. They could profit and do anything with it. And I probably have a tough time trying to get back my copyright and trademark rights to my own book. So
Wow.
that's why I made it $9.99. But my second book is actually like a comedy crime thriller. And it's kind of loosely based on a lot of what I went through already, but it's more funny and it's more of a story.
Tell me about life right now with the quarantine lockdown and how your life's been the past couple months with this craziness.
Man, I live around a lot of African Americans or black folks.
Yeah.
We not worried.
Yeah.
We're not worried. Everybody's still doing everything they've been doing. You know, except for when you go to the grocery store. That's the only time you run into trouble.
Yeah.
But you know, here in Florida where we are, they're loosening up. You know, the bars are opening. My buddy just came back. He wants me to go to the strip club with him later on. To be honest, so we're basically like doing some of the same things. But you know, I haven't been to a bar since I think March, the beginning of March or something like that. Like
Wow.
yeah, I haven't done anything. So that's the only reason I'm thinking about going with my buddy to the strip club. But we're basically getting back because you know in Florida they open up Northwest Florida, they open up the beaches on May 1st.
Wow.
So we've been almost back up to speed. But as far as like McDonald's and stuff, I don't think you can still go in the lobby here, but you can go through the drive at restaurants like that. So I think it's fucked up because I got a lot of friends in Hawaii. You know, Hawaii is a small island that work at some of the. There's only a couple bars of like major bars. There's only a few restaurants that are major restaurants on the island that I was on in Oahu, and they won't have their job.
Yeah.
They don't get to go back to work today
Right.
because the owner lost a lot of money. He can't pay his rent, or the owners.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, I think, when this thing lifts and people see the reality of people lost jobs, it's going to get ugly. But this is my hope, and this is why it's important that you and I are talking, and this is why it's important that we band together is when we can talk on a human level to people. I don't care black, white. Man, who cares, man? You got a breath in your lungs. I'm gonna stand for that breath. Yeah, you know, you got breath. I have breath. That's what unites us, you know. And I'm ready to lock arms with people and say it's time to stand for the beauty of humanity. You know, a rainbow is beautiful because it's different colors in unison, bending and working together. Man, I'm not looking for one color. Who cares? One color. It's all colors. It's beautiful, man. And that's what I'm excited about as we come out of this and we see, there's going to be heartache. There's going to be devastation.
Have you actually been to Hawaii?
I've never been to Honolulu. I've only been to Maui.
But you know how often do you see a rainbow in Hawaii?
Oh, all the time, man. All the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you can like all the people that come in, all the tourists and stuff.
Yeah.
Like so many different people on that island. It's kind of like Florida. You know, Hawaii is just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not connected to the continental U.S., but Florida and Hawaii has a lot of similar traits. But it's so many different people doing so many different things. And it's okay to be different. That's what people have to understand.
That's right. Like, that's right.
Standardization and normalcy is what leads to what you're talking about, child abuse and stuff, because you don't fit into the standard.
Yes.
And you're not what they consider normal, you will suffer the consequences. And it's not fair to people, especially children, growing up, because we can't make our own decisions by law.
That's right.
Until you're 17 or 18.
That's why one of the things that I talk about is saying the pain stops with me. It stops with me. My children, I have 3 children, and they've never experienced, and they never will experience the trauma and the pain. And I raise them to use their voice. We practice, literally, brother, we practice them saying no in different ways. And I talk about your voice is the most powerful tool that you have. And we have lost the ability to say no, like no, not no, we
Nah,
practice
dog. Like,
over. Like, no, like you'll stand down right now, and
yeah,
I tell them, what bullies hate worse than anything is attention brought to them. I don't
yep,
care if it makes you look silly. If you go, no, and everyone looks like, what's going on? That bully's going to
yeah.
walk right away. You don't even need to fight that bully. Bullies don't like attention.
Mm-hmm.
And we can solve, and I'm not talking about sunshine and rainbows and butterflies and bumper sticker. I'm not talking about I'm talking about the real world, but the realist version of this world is us using our voice to stand in our own power and say no. It's time that we tell people that perpetuate pain, no.
And see, my thing though, we speak Ebonics, I guess, but like I be like, I tell people like, nah, dog, this ain't gonna work for me. I don't know what you got going on. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but nah, dog, this ain't gonna work. And see, when you get to be able to say that and say that confidently, and not have other individual move you because out of fear or violence or the anxiety they create in you, because you're supposed to be afraid of somebody to try to put you in that situation. But like, nah, dog, I don't care what you try to do. Whether the police come, the teachers come, my mama come, your mom, whoever, like, this ain't gonna work for me.
That's right.
It's not gonna work. That's how it has to be. Like, you're absolutely right. It has to be that way.
That's right, brother. I talk a lot about PVT, pitch, volume, tone. Pitch. It's one thing to say no. No. It's another thing to say, pitch, the volume, the tone, the cadence, everything, man. And that's why I love hearing that you're healing by writing, is because getting our voice out, whether it be in paper or in person or in podcasts like this or wherever we are, the more we share. Look, you and we're creating something together right now. We're co-creating. And
it's going to be tough. I don't know. It's going to be crazy for somebody not to like this video. I don't know how it's going to work out or how you got to share it. This is like, I'm like laughing at myself, and I'm not laughing at you because you're a little more prepared than me. I kind of came in like last minute on the hop. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't really.
Man.
Man, this is totally dope. I do want to say that though. This is dope.
Well, I got a couple more minutes and a couple more questions for anyone listening that's struggling with suicide, especially veterans. What do you want to tell them?
Don't kill yourself, man. Like, for real. Like, that's the most important thing. Life is everything. So when you wake up and it's difficult, you're looking at yourself or even your thoughts, because a lot of veterans deal with schizophrenia or bipolar, so they're hearing a lot of different voices in their head also. So you're dealing with things in your mind, and you're dealing with things you hear from people personally, also face to face. The most important thing is to remember to find your own voice, to know your own voice, and remember life over everything. So even if it's not pretty, there are people doing worse to you, and that's not to brag or something like that, but it's somebody doing worse, and they're just they're probably smiling. And some people smiling in a terrible situation because they are just happy to be alive. So life is everything, because you can't do it. When people say money is the most important thing, but you can't have money without life and time. So time first, focus on your time, and what are you gonna do with your time? So if you wake up, you're like, man, I don't want to be alive, but what are you doing with your time that can make you not feel like it? That's my hope.
That's beautiful.
So find something better to do than to commit suicide. There's a bunch of other things you can do, right? You can run. You could, I don't know. There's a million things. You could even gambling. If you want to go have a beer, go have a beer. I don't know. Just don't do anything, violent or anything. You wind up in prison and jail, because there are actually veterans that actually drive to the VA, because a lot of people are angry at the VA. And it was like one guy, he was actually a major. He was fairly high ranking in the military, who set himself on fire in front of the VA to protest the treatment him not getting the necessary treatment he needed for his diagnosis.
Right.
Problem.
Wow.
Like, that is really extreme. It's really bad, and I want people to know, like, to understand. Like, there are people out here like me that understand it's not fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of life ain't fair, man, and that's what people don't understand. Life ain't fair to nobody.
That's
even
right.
if you're rich, even Bill Gates, Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
It's not fair to them, or even Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, even Donald Trump. It's just not fair. People are going to build you up to break you down. So don't let them bring you to a point that you actually take your life, man. Life is everything. You can't do nothing if you're dead.
That's good. That's it, brother.
It's over.
Solomon said in, we read the book of Proverbs, he said, where there's a lack of vision, the people perish.
Yes.
Lack of vision, the people perish. What's the vision for the rest of your life, brother? What are you hoping to accomplish, and what impact are you looking to make in this world?
The trajectory of my life?
Yeah, brother, the vision.
I think I did it. I've done a lot, because I self-published a book, and I did it in 6 days, and I did what? It was only like 15,000 words, but I got my story out. And see, people don't get their story. Like, you got to tell your story. You don't have to be a victim of silence. Like you say, you got to use your voice.
Yeah.
So, there's like, 30 or 40 something million books, ebooks or paperback books available on Amazon. And, my book was ranked in like the 119 something thousand out of the world. And I didn't do anything but promote it on Twitter. That's it.
Wow.
I thought that was like the dopest thing in the world. So, I just got my story out, man, because somebody read my book somewhere, or they saw it, and I talk about it, and I sign autographs. I actually sign autographs.
That's
so like,
awesome.
hey, man, this is me. This is like really who I am. They're like, you got a book? Because it's so hard to write a book. And I did it by myself, and I wasn't even really that coherent when I did. I just did it, and it turned out okay.
That's it.
So
That's
just
beautiful.
get your story out, man. In whatever manner you can, it's important that you tell your story, because everybody's story is important.
That's right. That's right. That's right, brother. I'm so thankful to have you on. I'm glad you're able to tell your story. And is it okay that I put your email in the show notes? People reach out to you if they're looking to connect?
Yeah, but can I ask you, I don't even know if I have a question. I feel rude, but I didn't ask you any question.
Hey,
what
brother.
does it feel like to even, how does it feel to actually host this podcast?
I
You had Gordania on there. I saw that. That shit was dope.
Oh, man.
Like, how you do that? Like, how you even get her? She likes my tweets and stuff. But you actually had on the show. That's dope as fuck.
I have no idea how she started following me on Twitter one day, and I followed her back. I looked at her. I'll never forget. I'm in the car and I tell my wife, like, someone with like 300 something thousand people is following me right now. And she's like, who? Mm-hmm. And I start looking, like, her content, her words are like my soul's melody, and I just like, who is this? And then one day I saw she had an opening for clients. I reached out and I hired her as a coach, and then we just became friends, man. And we've done 3 podcasts together. We're coming out with a course. Just a lot of beautiful stuff, man. And that, just like how you and I met. I mean, I don't know how it works. I don't know how the spirit realm, or I guess I call it the spirit realm, or the realm we can't see, man, connects people. Yeah. And but I do know this, brother, that hurt people, but healthy people heal people. And those that have been hurt and worked on being healed are the ones that are connecting right now around the world to go out and heal other people, to stand for healing, to stand for life, man. And that's what I'm on the mission for. I'm not afraid. I'm not backing down. I'm going to keep going, keep helping people find their voice and speak and heal. So,
well, I'm not going to hold you up. I know you got to go, but if nobody tells you today, man, I'm proud of you, man.
Thanks,
Lucas,
brother.
keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a good job.
Thanks, brother. I received that. Really, that blesses me, brother. Thank you.
Make sure I get this video, man.
I'll get it.
In contact.
Yeah, man. I'll edit this. We'll put it out live. This is going to go live in a couple weeks. So I'll send you the link. You'll get it all. Be on YouTube and be on iTunes and Stitcher and all that stuff.
All right. Well, I'm going to start the video so you can go. As long as we laughed, it was a good interview. We were good.
That's good, brother.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks, man. I'll talk to you. Well, my brother, Justin, thank you so much for joining, sharing your story. And I just encourage you to keep going on your path, keep bringing more light, more love, and more inspiration into this world. My brothers and sisters, where there's a lack of vision, the people perish, Solomon wrote. And he also wrote, hope deferred makes the heart sick. So no vision, no hope, sick heart. Sick heart eventually leads to death of culture, death of society, death of self. And instead of trying to engage society to touch the heart that gives some hope to hopefully have a vision, let's get back to the great vision that we can have where all men and women are created equal and treated equal, that we can unite in love and light for one another to give the highest good for one another. And where there's anger, brothers and sisters, that is just a sign for you to go inside and heal more pain. There's nothing wrong with being angry. However, if you don't heal that which makes you angry, you will always be subservient to the narrative, to the imagery, to the content that can quickly take you out of your power. And I hope that you awaken, that we awaken as human beings to be the invitation for others to come out of their trauma, to come out of the pain, to come out of those circumstances and those relationships and family dynamics and social constructs that keep us from experiencing the love and light, the beauty and majesty of having breath in our lungs. This is my hope for you. Keep on doing the work, brothers and sisters. Keep on doing the work. You're not alone. My name is Lucas Mack. This has been the Golden Rule Revolution, where inspiration and purpose come from treating people like people and nothing less. I'll talk to you on the next episode.